When I was growing up, I used to love home-cooked meals, real conversations at the kitchen table with my family, friends, and neighbors. These genuine connections taught me about love, life, and lasting relationships that I carry with me to this very day. As I grow older, I feel the responsibility to carry the mission to bring social home again. Let's get back to the basics and do social as we once knew it as children. My name is Rita Fuller-Yates, and I am your lifestyle expert. Welcome to Home Again.
I'm coming back home.
Socialite Nikki Campbell, and today is not only a good day to celebrate with girlfriends, but this is a good time to come up with a way for girlfriends to do something at home together.
Yes.
Today we're going to do what?
Well, it usually involves alcohol. So we're going to make pumpkin pie martinis, because martinis actually go with all types of, well, any type of holiday or any type of event, or anything you're having, a good martini always works.
And you know how you have those girlfriends. Everybody's got these go-to girlfriends. And I have a girlfriend named Nikki Campbell that is my go-to fun girlfriend. Everyone needs a fun go-to girlfriend in their back pocket.
That's me.
It's just something, it's just something about her. What is it?
I sparkle.
She calls herself Sparkle.
I sparkle. Okay. I can sparkle a little bit, or I can sparkle a lot.
But you can, and you do a good job at your sparkle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, everyone needs a Nikki in their back pocket. But today she's going to teach us how to make a martini, a pumpkin spice martini, right?
Pumpkin spice martini, yes.
Okay, well, let's get started.
All right.
All right, we're going to move our hot tea out the way.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Alcohol and hot stuff is not very good. Here we have more ingredients. We have Bacardi rum, light rum of course. We have Tito's vodka, some pretty cinnamon sticks for garnish. We have Cool Whip that goes on top. And this here is actually eggnog, pumpkin flavored eggnog, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people use pumpkin spice or pumpkin puree, which to me is sometimes a little too thick. And then we're gonna top it off with a little bit of pumpkin pie spice.
Yes, that's it. And then guess what we put on top?
What are we putting on top?
Everybody loves this.
What do they love?
What is it? Cool Whip!
Hey! How can you go wrong with Cool Whip on top? Absolutely.
Right.
All right. All right, so first we're just going to start with obviously our 2 glasses.
Okay.
All right. We don't really have we never really have a list of how to do things. We just kind of throw stuff together and hope it works.
That is what we do as girlfriends.
That is what we do. So we're just going to do that.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
See, sometimes the reason why girlfriends don't get together is because we make it too serious.
That's true.
Don't you think?
Yes, we do.
I mean, so what if there's one less ingredient that you may not have in your cupboard?
Yeah.
What happens with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a drink for us too, not a meal for the party. So, I mean, you can't mess up the meal, but a drink, you know, where you're just trying stuff out. Usually it always turns out really good, by the way.
No, and we did this today because normally you would use pumpkin puree, but in compensation of that, we're going to just use the spice.
Yep.
Because when you puree, that's adding a whole nother volume of responsibility.
It's a little too heavy. It's a little too heavy.
And then you got to grind it and do all type of extra.
And then you've got the eggnog also, the pumpkin spice eggnog, which, you know, I'm guessing is kind of make it a little creamy. So, you know.
Well, let's get started.
Try? All right, so we're just gonna mix stuff. All right, we're gonna take our little shaker thing here. We're just gonna mix stuff.
See, we don't even know real names as girlfriends. We just say, hey, you know.
We're gonna get this shaker thing.
The shaker thingy.
And our shot glass, and we're just gonna go for it. Can we get some ice, maybe?
Let's do it.
Maybe we should chill it?
You want some ice? Maybe. I thought I had got some ice. Okay.
Let's do that again. We get some ice.
Okay.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Where did we leave off at?
Okay.
So let's make it again.
Let's just start mixing stuff.
Yeah, okay. Let's start.
That work for everybody? Okay. So we've got our shaker thing. And we're gonna put
our shaker thing.
Our shaker thing. We're gonna put some ice in it.
Look at these cute little pineapples she has on.
Aren't they cool? This shirt kind of reminds me of myself. It's kind of fun and just festive, a little sparkle.
Yeah, goes back to the sparkle thing again.
That's what I do.
Okay.
All right, so we've got this. We're putting in a little. Oh hell, we're gonna put in a little bit of Tito's or a lot of Tito's. I'm gonna put a little bit of rum. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna put a little bit. We don't want to go really heavy with the pumpkin spice eggnog soap.
No, you may just want to do like a shot of the pumpkin spice, just to make it wet. Yeah, that looks good.
Maybe
but again, we are not the drink experts.
No, we're not.
We are girlfriends who happen to come together to drink.
This is true. We got some really great ingredients. We got some really great ingredients. We even got a little bit of vanilla here. It's vanilla. And we're going to put a little bit of vanilla. Vanilla always makes everything taste good. And of course, you can't make a pumpkin pie without vanilla or any kind of pie like that.
Well, that's my husband's job to do all the baking,
okay.
So I don't know anything about that. Grab a little spoon. This would be a little light brown sugar.
Light brown sugar, because that just sounds like it goes with it.
Right?
So we're just going to pour a little bit of that in there.
And the best thing about cooking at home is you can always add ingredients or take ingredients away. So once we taste it and it may be a little off, we can fix it.
As in alcohol.
Nothing wrong here. Get a little music, DJ, get a little music. Hey!
Let's see what that looks like.
Uh-oh.
It's pretty.
Where's the pumpkins? I think we need to add some more spice.
Well, we're not yet. We'll put that on top with our Cool Whip.
Okay, it looks good. It looks pretty.
Trying to be fair.
That thing is probably strong. I'm scared.
Let's take, you want to use that same spoon for the Cool Whip here?
Yeah, I'm scared.
All right. You are?
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
Okay. Yeah.
Put it on top.
Pop it on there. Yeah.
I wish I could be prettier, but hey, it's
That's
not.
okay.
Pretty's not real life when it comes to making a drink.
We should have put it like squeezed it out. That's okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but hey, we didn't have squeeze. We had Cool Whip in a bowl, and that just works just fine.
Okay,
We'll
let's
put
go.
that there. We'll put a little spice on top
There we go.
to make it kind of pretty,
Oh,
right?
little
And then
pumpkin spice.
we're gonna actually garnish with a cinnamon stick.
Pretty cinnamon stick.
How's that?
Wow.
That look pretty?
Look at that.
Pumpkin spice martini.
Voila, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Woo! That's actually really good.
Whoa.
That's actually really good.
Fabulous. We love this.
Hang on, I'm gonna make it taste a little better.
Love it. Now for me, I would add a little more eggnog pumpkin.
Okay.
And again, I'm not the heavier drinker, but she's got it down pat, don't she?
That was perfect.
I told you
Now
she
that-
sparkles.
That was perfect.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rita Fuller-Yates, also known as the Credit Connoisseur. I have been in financial services for almost 20 years. In October, it will be exactly 20 years. And over the course of my tenure in financial services, I'm often asked, what's the secret to financial success? What's the secret to success? And what I explain to people is there really is no secret to success, but there is a formula for success. And what I've learned is that C plus C plus C equals S. Write that down. C plus C plus C equals S. That is a communication plus commitment plus conduct equals success. Communication plus commitment plus conduct equals success. So first, let's talk about communication. Especially if you are in a relationship, a situationship, a marriage, if there is another party that lives with you, whether that be a roommate, whether that be your spouse, whether that be your adult children and even your minor children. There should be communication about the household finances and the goals of the household all the time. Those goals may change, but there needs to be something established to say this is the direction that we're moving toward as a collective. Because even though we may have individual paychecks or individual incomes, there is a commonality in the household budget. And so as it relates to that, the communication has to be on point. You know, marriages don't end because of money, and marriages don't end because of infidelity with sex. Marriages end because of the lack of communication around those things. And that's why the first C in the equation, in the formula for success in your finances, is communication. You have to speak with those who are involved. You know, I told my husband, when we have our weekly meetings, because we have a weekly roundtable to discuss the direction of the household finances, I say, listen, if we get a dog, cat, fish, everybody under the roof is coming to the meeting, because it's important that they understand what's going on as it relates to the money for the household, not the individual things, not your individual budgets, not the things that you're spending outside of what the common goals are for the household. But everything under this roof is participating in this family financial meeting, because they need to know the direction that the household is going. So communication is uber important, and it's number one in the equation. Based on that conversation, you got to establish some commitments. I got to say, okay, babe, as much as I love shoes, I commit to having a shoe budget of $200 a month. I commit to that. And you have to say, okay, babe, or he has to say, okay, babe, I commit to buying 2 video games per quarter, because video games are expensive. They're like $60 a pop or some ridiculous stuff like that. So based on our conversation, we write out some commitments. And the third C in that equation is conduct. So everything that we committed to through the conversation, our feet should line up in the direction to perform that commitment. So that means our conduct has to change. That means that even if I have a plus sign in my bank account at the end of the month and I see these shoes that I really, really want, but I've already exhausted my $200 shoe budget, I don't buy the shoes. I don't buy them because my commitment said that my budget for that month was $200. So on June 1, that commitment starts over. But if I want those shoes in May, and we've already established what we're doing in May and committed to May's budget, I can't get those shoes in May. My conduct has to line up with the commitments that are made in order for us to reach success. So communication plus commitment plus conduct will equal success. It's a really simple formula, and it's not only to be applied to the finances in your relationship, it can be applied to any area in your relationship. But communication is key. That's the foundation of the equation. If you have a commitment and conduct but no communication, the lines are crossed, and it's like, what are we doing here? If you have a conversation but no commitment, then there's no conduct that needs to be changed. So then we don't get any results. So all 3 C's are necessary to equal S, which is success. So make sure you're talking to your mate, your partner, anybody who has the same household budget as you, even if the paychecks are different. Make sure you guys come to an agreement on the commitments, and then make sure your conduct lines up so that those commitments can be ascertained.
Now this next segment is so exciting because it really is what it is and why it is that we do what we do. We are going into our community and we're recognizing our community kitchen heroes. Let me explain what a community kitchen hero is. A community kitchen hero is someone that we grew up with that provided a way to connect with us through food. They cooked the best food. They were able to come into the kitchen and come up with the most dynamic recipes. Now, I have a grandmother that I wrote my book about, Life Camera Action. And she was one of these community kitchen heroes. But some of her recipes we no longer have. All because we didn't take note of it. Well, as a community kitchen hero, we are recognizing these people, but we're also placing their recipe on our weekly show, and we're recognizing these individuals as staples of our community. Again, this is huge. The first one I did was with my mother, Roberta Amerson, and every New Year's Eve she made this wonderful meal for us. Now, my mom's not a big cook, but this particular meal was something we looked forward to every New Year's Eve. And she made sauerkraut and ribs. Now, I know many of you young people may not be very familiar with sauerkraut and ribs, but we're going to make sure that I infuse this in our information and uses it as a resource, because again, when we know better, we do better. So I'm excited to share with you a couple of minutes that I was able to share with my mother, Roberta, and I'll catch you in a minute after this clip. So it's always an honor when I get to sit down with my mother and talk about anything that pertains to our family. Our family at one time was really close, and we spent a lot of time with one another in the kitchen, making, or we shouldn't say making, we witnessed.
Everybody had a chair. Everybody had a chair. Just don't touch that one at the end. Don't touch that one at the end.
Who was that made for?
Mom.
The queen in her throne?
Mom at one end and Jenny at the other.
Yep, and all of us all in between.
Yep.
But we had a family that was made up of about 8 different siblings, but a grandmother that provided an avenue to making connections in the kitchen. It was her job to all day make food for us. And my mother has continued the legacy with her particular meal that I absolutely love every New Year's. Can you remember, or if you have a couple of minutes of a memory of a time when we were gathered in Grandma's kitchen? Do you remember a story or something that you could share?
Yeah, when we sit up there and she'd make those rolls, and I mean it was like a birthday party around that table, because either somebody was eating the dough or playing in the flour, and she'd give you that excess dough, and don't touch this over here, but you can play with that. But I used to eat the dough.
So your job was eating the dough?
My job was eating the dough.
Guess what my job was?
What? Eating the dough?
No, I didn't eat it. I ate it periodically, but my job was to cut
should have known.
The roll in half, put the butter in there with the little piece of ice. Now what was up with that ice?
Because it used to keep the butter firm and it had to be cold.
That's all I remember.
There was a bowl that she used to have for the butter, and then there was a pan she used to have for the melted butter. So you got the cold deal.
There was a little piece of butter that was in a little square, and we would take the biscuit or the bread, put the butter in the ice in the middle, and then fold it over, and then she pan it. And then all I could remember visually is her taking all that butter on the brush and just painting it on to that
Just
to that
watching
bread.
that butter soak down on the side of that pan.
Now, what was your favorite piece when it was all done?
The middle.
No, we fight for that middle.
The middle was this. Oh.
You had to fight for the middle because everyone wanted that one
roll
middle.
in the middle.
It was one piece of middle.
And she used to be like, okay, since you're the smallest,
12 rows.
Yeah, you can have the middle. So nobody ever got. He used to put jelly and apple butter, him and Mom, on the ends.
No, I just ate mine plain. For that middle, I fought for the middle because then you got that warmness. And it was just, again, we talk about recipes because in today's world it seems like it's just something simple. But ultimately, recipes and food provide connections, especially for African Americans inside their homes. It was a way that we had relations. So my grandmother definitely was our matriarch that provided us with these great examples. And I want to thank my mother who continued the process in making sure that we know at least one recipe that's passed on from her mother, and that is her sauerkraut and ribs.
So there were originally 5 of us, and then 3 adopted, and out of that it was 2, 3, 4, 5 girls and 3 boys. And my mom and dad adopted them. And it was kind of hard to accept at first, more kids in the house. But that didn't slow them down. Every Christmas we had somebody from Franklin County Orphanage staying at our house. We had to give up a gift and share. And we were plentiful. My dad and Mom made sure we never went hungry, we never looked bad. Kids already respect us until this day. Aren't you a Graves? And that's our quote. Aren't we a Graves? Yes, we are.
What you think? Again, when we stop and recognize people that are valuable to our lifestyles, it adds value to the future of other generations' lifestyles. We don't do any of this in vain. Everything we do is to help you bring social home again.